And without further ado, I'd like to introduce and welcome Brother Byron Moore.
Thank you. Would you find it objectionable if I were to sit?
No, sir.
I've had a long day, and I'm not so young. All right? But no disrespect. I hope that you will accept the few words that I deliver in the spirit in which I would love it to be received. Well, I must say greetings and salutations to every one of you that is here. Whether you're a member, a potential member, or not. And I would also like to state my appreciation to the leader of this group and to all who is responsible for us coming here. Now, many of you might never hear about the man Millard Fillmore Johnson. Anybody hear about Millard Fillmore Johnson? He was a barrister at law. He studied in England. As a matter of fact, he left Jamaica as a teacher and a pharmacist, went to England where he studied and became a barrister at law. After returning to Jamaica, he joined the Jamaica Labour Party. But he was quite active in racial consciousness. And he did not think that he had the sort of platform that he needed in the Jamaica Labour Party. So he joined with the group at that time of which I was a member, headed by a Dr. Abeng Dunkwa. That was the Afro-Caribbean Society. It was a cultural group. But after attending several meetings, we decided that since politics affect the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the place you live, and even the air that you breathe, it is time that we stand up in Jamaica, and I hope the world stand up to be counted, consistent with the ideas of Marcus Messiah Garvey. Before going into that, I think I should say something about our illustrious inspirator, Marcus Messiah Garvey. Now, a lot of people here might think or listen to detractors of Garvey about his ideas. But we must remember that in the 20s, when Garvey conceived the idea through his organization, or the People's Organization, that is the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, he understood clearly that black people, the oppressed of the earth, shall never, ever have freedom unless they create the institutions that they need to bring them out of the darkness that their enemies put them into. When Garvey created and taking a jump in history, because we will remember that when Garvey was having his meetings, in Harlem, nor did I say anything to you that Garvey had been attracted to this country through a man named Booker T. Washington. Did you hear me? But when he came here, as events would unfold, the great Booker T was called to higher orders. Notwithstanding, Garvey went to Harlem, where he started a movement, and it grew in the greatest mass movement the world has ever seen. The greatest mass movement the world has ever seen. Now, the minute that black people does anything, it doesn't matter what, even what you're doing here, you're going to have people who look like us, who do not share our common interests, and would always be carrying stories out to get crumbs from the master's table. Garvey had more than his share of those people within the UNIA. Notwithstanding Garvey's perseverance, ingenuity, and mastery as an organizer, Garvey was a great playwright. Garvey was a great orator. Garvey was a great humanist. Garvey demonstrated to the entire world that his love was for his own. But he never hated other people. He had no time to hate other people. He had too much to do for the liberation of his own people, because we will remember that in Garvey's travel all over the world, he saw one common thread, and is the suffering of black people all over the face of the earth, whether it be Africa, South America, the West Indies, wherever. And I want to say this at this time. If sugarcane did not change its name from the advent of slavery and before that, how comes black people who were Africans from Africa have been American nigger, West India nigger, and all sorts of things? You see, why do I say this to you? I'll tell you why. Some years ago, I was in New York City, and a black person like me look at me and say to me, well, you're a mother effing, coconut climbing, Highland nigger. I says, I beg your pardon? And he repeated this fallacy. I say, I have come here to America to deflect licks that you're getting on your backside. And if an American cracker is going to scalp somebody based upon color, he's not going to ask if I am an island nigger or a continental nigger. And this has proven itself over and over and over. Was Amma a continental nigger or an American nigger or African? Don't watch the word nigger. I'm just giving it to you as it is. Because let me tell you something. Truth resounds. It doesn't matter where you are. Whether you speak the truth in Washington, D.C., or just spoken in Australia, in London, anywhere, it's still the same truth. You understand? And it is not the name that we call, our people call us. It is our will. It is our intention. And I think it is the prerogatives of people of color to create the institutions to bring together the minds of our people, because I am convinced that between these two here, we have the gray matter to solve all our problems. It doesn't matter what it is. And the coming together of people is of total importance. Now, you take a place like Jamaica, where I was originally from, but I always regard myself as a human being, a person of the world. And I have traveled to Africa, to different countries in Africa. I have traveled all over the United States, the West Indies, you name it. And from in my 20s, my life has been in service to people who look like us. You understand? And this is not a boast. I don't have anything to show about it other than people who know what my contribution were. Would say it, and say it without fear or favor, like Dr. Tony Martin and a host of other scholars. However, remember what I was saying. When Garvey created his Black Star Line, Garvey was playing on the ideas of power. Can any of you imagine if Garvey's Black Star Line was afloat today, what it would mean for black people? Remember, when Garvey created the Black Star Line, the jobs that black people had in shipping company were in the bilge or kitchen police. You know what the bilge is, all of you? I'm sure. You know what the bilge of a ship is. In the bottom of the ship, where the propeller screw them is, black people was always greasing that in the water. And for wash pot and cook food and things like that. Garvey said, if the bilge is good for the black man, then the bridge is good for him. And the only time that black people is going to be in the bridge is when they create their own institution. And that was the great idea behind Garvey's creation of the Black Star Line. Remember when Garvey created the Black Star Line? How much independent black country you had in the world? Can anybody here tell me?
Two.
Which are the two?
Liberia and Ethiopia.
No. Haiti was one, and Cuba was the other in the Caribbean area. Let me tell you this now. Liberia was never independent. Liberia was always a tool to the whims and fancies of this white supremacy state. One must not, and not only that, a lot of things that is happening in Liberia can be traced back, its genesis can be traced back to the misruling that went on there. And the terror that was spread from countries around Liberia. When Garvey sent his first shipment of goods there and technical people to make a survey as to what we could do to bring this country out of the mire, you know what was happening? The countries, the colonial countries around was threatening King and tell King that if he did not desist from talking to Marcus Garvey, they would topple him. You understand? When it comes back to the ship, when Garvey created the Black Star Line, there were two types of people as customers on those ships, or people who he addressed. One is a paying class who were entitled to all amenities board ship, and that was a revolutionary thought. And two, a stowaway. He says, well, if you're stowaway, we have to put you in the brig. You know where the brig is? The prison of the ship. But if you pay, you're entitled to all amenities on board ship. Now, a lot of people will not think about this, and they might believe it's a joke or something like that. But these were revolutionary ideas. Why? Garvey would buy tickets on board white people's ship, and they would treat him to the worst of the worst conditions. Garvey say, I have to correct that. You see the red, black, and green? A lot of people don't know how this came into being. Because white people would say, where is your flag to black people? And they said, the star and stripe. Say, go away, you coon. You don't have any flag. Garvey say, I am going to rectify that. He says he created the red, the black, and the green. The red is for the blood that transcends all humanity. And in a struggle for the right, it might be spilled by people who think you should have no right. The black, obviously, is for the black race, and the green is for the plant life. Without chlorophyll, we'd never be anything. Understand? Now, I do not want to speak too long because there are others here and time is limited. But there are other points that I think I should bring to your attention. Not because I think I'm the first person that is going to bring it to your attention, but I think what I have said needs to be said over and over and over. When Garvey was asked, what are the subjects that children should study? Garvey said, it is incumbent on black people to teach their children history. They should be taught of the University of Sankoray. They should be taught that civilization flowed down the Nile. They should be taught that black people delivered the basic structures of reducing the heavenly calculuses mathematically. This was done all by black people. He said in his African fundamentalism that when white people were eating out of the skulls of their conquered deads, university in Timbuktu, Sankoray, were performing the most delicate eye and brain operations. You understand me? And a host of other things. One only have to think about the pyramids of Egypt. And you see, even the hanging gardens of Babylon. Now, is there any Asian here in here now? Is there Asian? One Asian? It's a pity. However, which was one of the wonders of the world that was built in Haiti? Huh? The citadel. The citadel it was built by a man who called himself King St. Cristo, who incidentally was not born in Haiti, but rose to become king of Haiti. And you'll remember the first slave, so-called slave society that crushed Napoleon forces were the forces in Haiti under Tunisian Louverture. You will remember that. And up until today, white supremacist clique is against the Asian people because they wanted to demonstrate that independence has no meaning to black people. We are here today, and we must remember that the countries most ravished by AIDS is South Africa, the Union of South Africa. Come and help me. Which other?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Botswana.
Botswana is the one. Kenya. Malawi. And that's the problem. And here we are, the richest continent in the world, having the poorest people on God's earth. And all this is because of man's inhumanity to man. Any of you will remember when this AIDS epidemic started? Who was the whooping boy? Who they blamed for AIDS more than anybody else? Haiti. When these homosexuals went to Haiti, contaminated the people there, and then blamed them. So the whole thing is that we've always been blaming the victim. And until people who are the victim create the conduit to bring together the brain power to extradite themselves from question, will always be in that condition. And that, my friends, is what Garvey did. I don't want to go any further. Politically, remember I said, politics affect the food you eat, the clothes you wear, and even the air that you breathe. Garvey, after he was set up and trumped up charges in this country, was deported to Jamaica. And the powers that be in Jamaica follow suit too. There are people here in this country, and they gave Garvey hell. So much hell that they sent Garvey to prison there on trumped up charges. And Garvey had to go to England where he died. Today, more is known about Garvey than a lot of people in the world. And it is the duty of us to perpetrate and to create the conditions to make Garvey's spirit live again. Garvey advocated in those days in the 20s, he advocated a polytechnic for every county in Jamaica. He advocated 8-hour workday. He advocated compulsory education. And he said to children that they should learn mathematics, art, and the sciences, because it is through education that you'll be able to put together the means that will bring you out in the sunlight. Understand? Well, I tell you this, In 1961, the People's Political Party went to England and delivered a paper to the British government as to why we should sit on the constitutional talks that led us into independence in 62. It never occurred. Because neither the JLP or the PNP, the ruling parties there in Jamaica, wanted that. So, we were never seated, but history will condemn them because of that. You see, today in Jamaica, the Prime Minister was here last year, and I asked the Prime Minister, P.J. Patterson, how much people have perished in communal warfare in Jamaica since 1962? He said he didn't know. I said, well, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm telling you that 70,000 people have perished. He said that he's not in a position to challenge me. And this is a Prime Minister who looks like any of us, the present Prime Minister. You understand? So, we again resuscitated the party, the People's Political Party, and this time we call it the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. And I will allow my brother here to develop that point. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. You want to pick up, it's picking up
It's
for
not
the
the speakers going to the
Yeah, you got to talk loud enough so they can hear it.
Greetings,
You know, if
brothers.
it's through this, it's going to pick up for the camera. Just talk.
Yeah. Greetings, brothers. Greetings, brothers and sisters. It is very nice to be here this afternoon. You know, since for the past couple of months we happened to meet the president and also Brother Moore, right, in New York. And we had organized a function for the birthday of Honorable Marcus Henriques. I must say it was really a historical time that was really here. Okay, my name is Neville, and I'm from Jamaica, Africa, Ethiopia. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I happened to go to school at some type of degree of education. I've been working with government over a period of time. And from my experience that I've gathered during that period of time, I worked with both the PNB administration and JLP. And I have to deal with people or poor people. And during my period of time of investigation, I've seen that condition that exists after Jamaica attained independence. You know, I don't think this was really the right road to take. And I was really upset. Wasn't really pleased with the way in which government and the opposition was really functioning in the interest of the development of the people. The Honorable Marcus Moses Garvey, which I am a student of his principles and also his philosophy and opinion. And when I look and see what Garvey had done for us over the years, I realize that these people who are in power are not a part of Garvey. It's not really, these are some of the people who are prosecuting Honorable Marcus Moses Garvey. These are some of the people who are conspired to prosecute Garvey and send him to prison. And so we have seen that Garvey over the period of time is that the tribulation that they have put him through, it did not deter him. He continued to work for the interests of people of the world. Not only Jamaica or the Caribbean region and the United States, black people and other people all over the world. That's what Marcus Garvey come to liberate people of all walks of life. The Honorable Marcus Moses Garvey is a man that he have sacrificed his life for the growth and development of the people of the world. Black people, because when you have seen what the administration, the present system during that period of time is doing, is to divert the entire black population of the world from the basic principles of which African people are used to from the exceptions of Africa. Because there is no other countries in the world. Africa have created the greatest civilization in the world. Africa have about 300 or 500,000 years of civilization in the education.
Here, here.
And they destroy the entire educational principles and system of Africa and to incorporate it with their corrupted mentalities, system, it is not functioning for our children. And so, during the time I've seen what this government of Jamaica is doing, the present administration in Jamaica, have conspired with other countries of the world who do not have our interest at all. And today, Jamaica, after over 42 years of independence, is no better than 1961 or 59 before they attained independence. As a matter of fact, the last statistics that came out that the education in Jamaica is lower than what it were in the 50s during the colonial days. And these are the present government of Jamaica who came out of Jamaican people. The Prime Minister of Jamaica was born and grew and schooled in Jamaica, went to England and went back to Jamaica. But he had been trained by other people of the world and show him how to rule the people of Jamaica. And today, it is a national shame to see what the people of Jamaica is going through. The reason why Jamaica is surviving today because Jamaica are a group of determined people. And as long as they get the opportunity as black people, they will survive and strive. Not because that economy of Jamaica is of any better shape than any parts of the black world, but because the people are determined. The government of Jamaica have seen it fit to raise the salary continually without having any sympathy with the poor and suffering people of Jamaica. The educational system, as I said before, is very low, and is a very, very low level at this present time. And Marcus Garvey People's Political Party have decided when we take office, and as a matter of fact, we don't even have to take office because right now we decided to introduce policies and programs that we can show the government of Jamaica that we don't have to take office to introduce these principles and system of Jamaica. We are going to do it in all different fields of our endeavor in Jamaica. I'm stating that I'm an engineer and I'm a civil engineer and also a social scientist. And I said Marcus Garvey said that any country or any group of people that control science and technology, these are the people that will rule the world. Sure. That's why the Babylonian system today is trying to introduce all different type of technologies and all different type of psychology, all different type of diplomatic maneuvering in order to control and manipulate the scientific principles. But I'm saying, brothers and sisters, all we have to do is to stand together as a group of people and dedicated in the principles of Marcus Garvey, that when we go, we teach our children and continue strive for the growth and progress of our people. As Brother Moses have said, that we have met together over a period of time and decided that we need, as Marcus Garvey said, we need a vehicle for our political expression. Because we have thought to resuscitate the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. And we got together with Brother Miguel and other people in Jamaica, other progressive-minded people in Jamaica, who have seen the condition that exists today in Jamaica. And we have decided that we must bring forward this government, this party of Marcus Garvey, because this is the only political party exists in the Western Hemisphere and show the world that aspire and cater to black people. And this is what we decided to restructure the People's Political Party. 26 principles of Marcus Garvey will be restructured, and these are some of the principles that we're going to use so that we can introduce it to the world, not only to Jamaica, to the Caribbean region and the parts of the world. Today, the present system in the Caribbean region is not being respected, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. They are a group of politicians who have been trained and sent to Jamaica, where in different areas, to go and to go pressurize our people and to control the wealth of the country. when our country and its people is not in control of the economy of a country, there is no way that we can make progress, because the economy is not in the hands of the people. The land of Jamaica and the Caribbean region is not in the hands of the people, as it is like in Zimbabwe. And this is the struggle that the people of Zimbabwe is going through right now. And we have to decide to gird our line together to support the Zimbabwe people, the government and the people of Zimbabwe. They're going through a massive struggle and separation, economically, health, educationally, and every aspect of life. As I'm saying to you that the present government of Jamaica and the Caribbean region are the one that went to the meeting in Africa and decided to maintain sanctions against the brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe. This same government that you have seen in the region support with the white regime of the Western world to continue the embargo and sanction against your brothers and sisters. And we are asking that we send a communique, not only to the PGA policy in Jamaica, but also to CARICOM, the Carrington and the Secretary General of CARICOM, that we are demanding that they, with the British government, that they lift sanction against the people of South Africa.
Zimbabwe.
We are serious.
Zimbabwe.
We are serious in it. Zimbabwe are suffering. The people of Zimbabwe, if you have seen the paper recently, you have seen that the hospital has nothing in the form of any medical, pharmaceutical, or anything. You know, this is our people. This is the same 6 frontline states. Zimbabwe is a part of the frontline state, including South Africa, and Botswana, and Zimbabwe, and Zambia, and all these countries. Today, I am saying to you, brothers and sisters, we have to look at the thing from a political and an international perspective. We have to stand firm in our commitment. I am not really a political thing, but I'm a politician, we speak, but I am a part of the organization, both because I am a general secretary so far of the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. UNIA, the sons of Dr. Garvey was one of my principals in school in Jamaica. Dr. Garvey Jr. And we have been able to start with certain principles. Honorable Marcus Marcel Garvey policies and programs, ladies and gentlemen, must be reconstructed, we must be restructured. In the interest, we will use our new scientific development and teaching and education that we have to incorporate this into this 26 plank that he have introduced and leave for us to carry on. As I said, as student of Marcus Garvey, and there is no way that any of these political parties or any of these political leaders in the Caribbean region, any part of the world, can be able to convince me to support them. I've never been a part of any political party in Jamaica because I work with government, I've seen how they function. They do not have the interest of the people at heart. Today, the violence in Jamaica is atrocious, it's disgraceful. And to see that a people, a man who came from the people, today, sit up the heads of a government, and to see that our people have been slaughtered for no reason or the other. There is no justified reasons. Political tribalism, that's how they function. Without this, miseducation, bad economy, no bad schooling, no roads, underpayment. Teachers in Jamaica has been underpaid. The hospitals, people who work in the hospital, nurses and the doctors underpaid. Junior doctors in Jamaica have been continually striking because of the bad condition and working condition and salary in Jamaica. While the government of Jamaica increased their salary. Last year while we were in Jamaica, they have increased their salary by over 105%. 105% salary increases for members of parliament in Jamaica.
And 4% for the teachers.
They negotiated 4% and it lasted for 2 years. 2 years before it comes, before they decided. 2 years they went into negotiations. My brothers and sisters, we are saying that there is a tremendous amount of our people today are coming forward because they have seen that the only hope for Jamaica and the entire region is the principles and guidance and leadership of the Honorable Marcus Moses Henriques. No other way. I'll give you some copies. You know that these are some of the people. This is just a few of the people that came to this conference. We started this morning, brother, as everyone here can tell you, that we started in the morning from 10:30, and at 9:30 we had to ask people to leave because they did not want to go because of the message that we have bring forward to them. These are some of the things that the people wanted to hear. Not the same political tribalism and the old corrupted system, because our government is ruling for 15 years and going into the 20th year, and today they do not have economical policies and programs that introduce to the people of Jamaica. If you have seen their electoral manifesto, nothing has changed. It's the same old political rhetoric they introduce. And the reason for that, because they continue to under-educate the people. As long as you are intelligent and being educated, you're able to see things at a different perspective. You're able to see things on a different level. They do not want that. They continue the same capitalistic system. They maintain the same political and corrupted administration as the former capitalist imperialist bosses. They just follow the road. There's no different from what the Great Britain government were institutionalized in the people of Jamaica. And we are saying to you, brothers and sisters, that Marcus Garvey People's Political Party, we're asking that we, every sector of the community, whether here or in the Caribbean or in Africa, we're asking that we come together and form a unified political party, the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. And this is what we intended to carry forward, this flag, the black, the red, black, and green. So it's one God, one aim, one destiny. This is what we intended to continue to do. We must, as students of Marcus Garvey, brothers and sisters, they'll form the UNIA, and they'll form the ALU, the ASL. And this is the political vehicle for our economical expression, social, economical, and political expression. You know, we are the students of Marcus Garvey, and we will continue to do so. Because the political system in Jamaica and in the Caribbean region, it is not the system that will take us, to liberate us out of the mire and the destruction that the former capitalist system had laid down for us. The educational system, I said before, the economic system is in a political shambles. Violence, they shuffled one minister of one minister of national security and justice to another minister, and the crime continues. It escalates. It continues to escalate. They have no answer because some of them are the people who create the political situation today. So these are the people. So none of them can really help the situation because the people who's doing it are the same people who they have trained and the same people who they have given massive economical support and weaponry to destabilize their own country, while they stay on an ivory tower and continue to lead the country. This is not the people that's supposed to be the leaders. As you have seen, I'm really happy to know that the president was able to come forward here and make a presentation. I'm very pleased to know that you were able. I spoke to him and he told us that he had a very good time here and he was pleased of the attendance of this UNIA in this country here. So we're asking each and every one, let us work together as a unit. As Brother Moses said, everywhere we forward, a formal unit. This is the time, this time right now, this time here. We got to get rid of both P.J. Patterson's, Edward Siaga, and all of the corrupted leaders in the Caribbean region. Their time is expired. Their time have expired because none of the two political parties are different. Both of them join together, conspire together to lead the people into a different corrupted direction. And the only way that we can get out of this is to get rid of both political parties in Jamaica once and for all. None of them is better than the other. They are saying in Jamaica there's not a Aaron, there's no better Aaron, no better Byron. Both of them are the same thing. And we are saying together, brothers. And before I leave, I just want to say that just a few words of Marcus Garvey.